Okay, so I've made a little t-table here for you. So I have my original x values and then what the y values would be when we squared x. And then when we translated it on the horizontal, then when we stretch it, and then when we vertically translate that. So I've gone from -4 to +4 so we can adequately see the shift this time. And I won't graph anything beyond the 4s just because those are the comparable ones here. So we have the -4 would give us a 16, -3 giving us a 9, -2 giving us a 4, -1 giving us a 1, 0 giving us 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 giving us the exact same values as -1 through 4. Now when we shift it this time, notice this says x plus 2. Remember that we have to look at this as minus a -2, and I can't get it to write, -2 there. So this value -2 is what we're going to shift the vertical by. So we're going to shift it more to the left. So what was going to be a 4 is now going to have 2 subtracted from it. And what was 3 is going to have 2 subtracted from it. What was 2 is going to have 2 subtracted from it. What was 0 is going to have 2 subtracted from it. -1, 2 subtracted from it. And -2, 2 subtracted from it. So you see all of these values right here, right? These all are going to get shifted up 2 places. So now -4 is comparable to 4, -3 is comparable to 1, -2 is comparable to 0, -1 is comparable to 1. So that's what happened there. And then I didn't have these values, so I crossed them out. And I'm only going to need to graph about through here. If we wanted to graph down to here, we have plenty of room to do it here. And then I'm going to stretch it, so all the y values in stretching get multiplied by that constant 2. So 4, 8, 1 becomes 2, 0, 0, 1 becomes 2, 4 becomes 8, 9 becomes 18, 16 becomes 32. And now finally I'm going to do my vertical shift. And notice this one is a -1, so I'm going to subtract 1 from 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. 2 minus 1 is 1. 0 minus 1 is -1. 2 minus 1 is 1. 8 minus 1 is 7. 18 minus 1 is 17. And 32 minus 1 is 31. So now let's graph all these and go through the translations that way. So we started out with our basic parabola, right? 0, 0. And then we have a 1 and a 1 and 1, -1 and a 1, and 2 and 4, and -2 and 4, and then we have 3 and -3, and then we have 4 and 16, and there as well. Okay, so there is our first parabola. Now what are we doing with this one in our vertical shift, or excuse me, horizontal shift? Well, in our horizontal shift, we're taking each of these points and we're moving in left this time, -2. So this point is going to go over here. This point is going to go to this way, 1, 2. This one is going to go 1, 2 this way. This one 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 2 that way. This one 2 that way. This one 2 that way. So let's just take a look at -4. So our -4 here, right? And we have our our let's just start out with our x is equal to the -2. So when we have x is equal to -2, yep, there's a 0. When we have x is equal to -3, yep, there is a 1. When x is equal to a -4, yep, there it is, equal to 4. So you see that shift, and if you want to take a look at it up here in x is equal to 2. Sure enough, it's equal to 16. So there, all the way up, there's our 16. And that's because those got shifted over by 2. So now I'll draw this translation in here as well. And you can see a nice, just flop it over, 2 points that way. Now we're going to do the stretching one, and the stretching one is the only one that makes the graph actually have a different shape to it because it stretches it up by its bootstraps, so to speak. And so this one, 0 times anything is still that is 0. And then 1 times 2 gives us 2. And 1 times 2 gives us 2. And then 4 times 2 gives us 8. And 4 times 2 gives us an 8 there as well. And then 8 times 2 would give us a 16. And this over here would also give us 16. And of course we don't have those comparable ones there to show us those. Okay, so now we have them multiplying by 2's. So we only have on our graph really, let's see, yeah, we didn't have the 8 times 2, no, let's see, that was 9 times 2, that's right, that's 9, not 8, sorry, 9 times 2, this should be indeed at 18, that one should be indeed be at 18, and let me erase those because we don't want those in there, that was 18 because that's 9, and that one should be at 9, not at 8, so this one, let's see, that's 4, yeah, that's 8. And this one's at 9, and that one should be at 18. Make sure I got those. So this one is at 9 and 18. Okay, and now I can stretch this out. All right, now once I have those, then the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to add the horizontal or the vertical component. And so this is going to drag each of these down by 1. So this one's going to go down 1. 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 And this one's going to go down 1. And so you're going to see the same exact graph, just 1 unit lower than it was before. So there is our final graph, just 1 unit below at the vertex. So that's our different translations on that. So if we were just going to go and we were going to graph this entire thing all by itself, and I were going to graph it at my very typical points, so that I can see this a little bit better, I'll expand this out so that I have 2 lines to make 1. Here, when I have my vertex, it's going to be at x is equal to -2, y is equal to -1. So that would be my vertex right there. And then I would have this translation so that we have what would normally be my -1 or -2 through 2's now are 1 place back, so I'm going to have the -3 through +2's giving me my comparable values. So I have -3 through +1 1, giving me comparable values. So I just have to go through and I have to translate those onto there, and that's going to require me to think pretty hard without having a t-table of those values, and that's why I do make these t-tables so that it's easier to find. So let's see, I'm going to have 7, 1, 7's, 1's, and negative positive 1s, 7's and positive 1s. So positive 1s here, and positive 1s here, and then 7's here, 5's, 6, 7. And so there's my 7, and there's my 7. And so that's what my graph is going to look like for this function listed over here on this side of the screen. So that is that y function is equal to 2 times x plus 2 quantity squared minus 1. So that's what I have when I look at this entire thing. I see that my vertex is at -2, 1, and my values that are 1 unit out this time are going to be up at 1's, and then my other values are going to be up at 7. So just based upon this particular these particular points right here, 0 and 7, -1, 1, -2, 1, my vertex, -3, 1, and then -4 and 7. And again, I'm going to point out that this is going to be your vertex. And there you are. Okay, so there would be our ordered pairs. Just one more flip-flop back here. -4, 7, -3, 1, -2, -1, -1, 1, and 0, 7. And those are all the exact same ordered pairs that you have over here.